I never look at like food as like chore or anything like most people. And a lot of people describe cooking as just cooking, but to me, it's culinary art. You're an artist, and it's a clean canvas, a clean plate, and whatever you put on there, whatever your heart and soul that for this dish, you get to let a person enjoy it. I'm one with what I'm doing now. Yeah, growing up, I had like a short time, in Cambodia before I came here as a refugee. So I was like, I live in the countryside, and you had to forage, you had to gather, you had to hunt. So my mom would mostly go gather herbs and spices along the riverbank or along her garden. And then my grandfather and my uncle, he would teach me how to hunt and catch fish and crab and, just bring in whatever protein we find out there in the jungle or along the river. And then we would bring it to the countryside. And that's when I learned how to cook, how I learned how to make my own fire, how I learned how to use a machete by myself, go and collect firewood. I had a cooking experience at a very, very young age. I used to live in Amarillo, like, oh, you're the Cambodian cowboy, huh? So that's how I got my little nickname. They would go tell their family about the barbecue they had, the experience they had. That I cut the brisket, I let them taste straight out from the smoker. They were super excited about it. I got into smoking while I was living in Texas back in the mid-90s. My stepdad had a contract at a hospital, then I went with him after I graduated high school and a little bit of college. So I want to, go see get out of Long Beach a little bit. And that's where I learned how to smoke, because actually my first job near Amarillo, Texas, was working for a slaughterhouse. And working in that, it gave me understanding the different cuts of meat. But I found out that most of people out there, they use a lot of dry rubs. They weren't into like sauces and stuff that I was accustomed to growing up here in Southern California and being Cambodian. So I learned how the different dry rubs they have and the different types of wood they use. So that was when I started like knowing how to smoke stuff correctly.
So good.
Oh, I offer brisket, tri-tip, I spare ribs, beef ribs. I do amazing pork belly, and then chicken, and then we have a homemade sausage. This tri-tip slider has been in Long Beach for like the last 15 years. That's when I started. I had like a propane smoker, slider buns. I would toast it a little bit, and I'll put the sriracha mayo. I'll put my tri-tip that I put lemongrass, and then I would put my homemade barbecue sauce, my pickle, green papaya and carrot. It's been with me for more than the time that I've been smoking the Battambong sliders.
Slider is amazing. The meat is really like juicy, and and the pickle. The pickle is different. They're using I think they're using a radish, Asian radish, and it just gives that different taste. But it's amazing. I want to get more.
Battambong fully loaded nachos. You get your nachos, you get your cheese, and then I put my smoked pulled pork on there, and then I put the Cambodian coconut corn, and then I put barbecue sauce, I put my sriracha mayo, and then put a little bit of crema, I put a little bit of guacamole, and then some pickled jalapeno on the side, and Parmesan cheese. And so that is like 3 or 4 cultures put together all in one plate. It's Southern California nachos. Oh man, I start like my day at least Wednesday.
This is where the secret is, this wood right here, man.
Wednesday or Tuesday, I would have to go pick up my firewood all the way in Irvine, because Thursday I would make all my homemade sauces. So it's traditional American barbecue and a lot of Asian seasoning that I add to it, so that's become very unique, because there's nothing out there to get yourself, your customer can taste the different versus stuff you get out from the big people in the barbecue world. And then Friday morning, that's when I go get the meat. I want it to have it fresh as possible. And then prepping it, getting it ready. So I go to my friend's restaurant. I prep it the night before. Prepping smoking is probably a good 20 hours, like to trim the brisket, I trim tri-tip, and to pull the little layer off the ribs so you get that nice coat on it. So that takes at least a good 2 hours. Because I'm by myself, so everything's all one man. There's no one helping me. Just smoking it and throwing in the smoker, getting the fire ready, getting my torch out. I see myself doing it for a very, very long time. I think I finally hit it on the head where something that I'm good at, something that's fun for me, something that's different, and something that's a little bit edgy. And I think I have a lot to offer into the local scene and a much bigger scene, so I'm ready for it.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, thank you. All right, brother.